Zoom and how to stay connected using Zoom for your meetings, to build team and culture, and so on. So today has been building on a number of tips that we've been working on all week. So we've talked about how to build culture on Monday. We talked about Google Meet, and we've talked about Microsoft Teams, and now we're talking about Zoom. If you want to see any of those other videos, go back on Facebook or YouTube, Twitter, you'll find them all there. So going to just take you through some tips around Zoom. There are lots and lots of settings for Zoom, so we're not going to go through all of them. I just want to call out some of the main ones that will help you if you're a business owner to stay connected but organized. If you're a teacher, then definitely to stay in control. We're already seeing examples of what they call now video bombing, where students share out a link to a Zoom call, and students from all over are starting to show up on that. And if you don't have things set up the right way, it could be a problem. Also, if you're in business, you just want to make sure that things are kept nice and safe and secure and people can access you. So one of the reasons I really like Zoom is that it scales really well. It doesn't use a lot of bandwidth compared to, say, Google Hangouts Meet. And so you've also got the option to dial in via phone. So at the moment, with a lot of schools in remote learning mode, some students don't have access to a computer all the time, or their internet is patchy, if at all existent. And so you can provide for your students the opportunity to call in on a local number and be able to access it. So there's a lot of reasons to like Zoom for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and share my screen, and we will have a look at some of the settings that are available to you in here. So here's my Zoom right here. So in Zoom, what we can do is we can see that there are a lot of different options over on the very left-hand side. And so I'm just going to jump in, and I'm going to just show you some of those settings that we want to be able to work through. So let's go here and jump into here. A couple of things that I want to just call out initially for you is that when you are connecting here, we already talked about the audio types that you can have. And so this is once you've logged into your account, just on the settings on the side here, just giving the option for people to dial in via their computer if they want, but also by telephone. And you can go in and set up local numbers, and I'll show you that a little bit later. They just sit up here under the telephone option in your settings. A couple of things just to take note of. You can use your personal ID. So you do get, with every account, a personal ID link that you can use. And so when you're doing that, you may want to just make sure that you require a password for that. So the reason you might want to do that is that if you just use the same link over and over again, then at any time somebody can grab that link from a previous email or a chat message and then jump in and interrupt that meeting. So just by giving them a password that's unique to them will make it a lot easier for them to access. There are a lot of settings about what can people do as they're joining into the meetings, and you can see you can just toggle these on and off. And so a couple of things to really take note of. One is, do you want to allow people to be able to send chat messages? You may want to turn that off if it's a distraction. You could turn it off for one type of meeting and turn it back on from another. And you can also stop people from saving the chat if you wanted to. Do you want to let people private chat or not? Then that's totally up to you. You can say yes or no to that in here as well. I like to have this feature turned on when someone joins. I get a little chime, and what that does is that it enables me, maybe I've joined a little bit earlier and I've just doing some work on a different screen, and sometimes you can come back to the call and you're like, oh, someone's sitting there waiting for me. So this is a really nice option just for you to be able to hear it. It doesn't interrupt everybody else, but you just know what's going on. One of the other options I really like is the option to turn on a co-host. And so what this means is that you can make someone a co-host in the call. And so they can deal with all the chat and distraction and muting people and all of that sort of thing. And it just lets you focus on being able to present. So that's something that's definitely worth having a look at. Another one that you can turn on is screen sharing. So allowing participants to be able to screen. I always make sure that, if I want all participants to be able to do that, I always make sure that this setting is turned on here, which will make sure that I can start sharing when somebody else is sharing, so I can take over their screen if I need to. But you definitely want to have that turned off for all participants. If you're in a classroom setting, just makes it easier. There's also some great features around annotation and whiteboards, which allow you to annotate across the top of a screen or be able to whiteboard something out, which is great. And I also love this feature here about non-verbal feedback. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute when I log into Zoom and actually show you where some of these settings are. But it's just a great way for participants to be able to say, go faster, slow down, I like it, don't like it, and so on. One of the options that is hidden here, and a lot of people don't realize it's there, just because, again, there are so many things that you can turn on and off, is the ability to have breakout rooms. So you could bring everybody together into the main room, have a chat, and then you could break them out into separate rooms. And while you're putting them in separate rooms, you can either manually assign people to a room, or you can just say, I want 5 people in a room, and it just automatically gets done for you. So some really cool things that you can do in there. You can also enable virtual backgrounds. We're going to talk to you about that tomorrow. Tomorrow's all going to be about how do we do fun things in our video calls to keep people connected. So there's lots of options in that. So you can see there's a whole lot of other things in here that you may be interested in. Attention tracking lets you know that if someone hasn't had your window open for 30 seconds, so maybe you're sharing your screen and they're off doing something else, they're not looking at the screen. It doesn't like give an alarm or anything like that. It does just show you here a little time indication when you're looking at the participants to say, hey, maybe they've lost attention for some reason in there. So yeah, lots and lots of different options available to you. One other one that I want to just pull out for you here is in the telephone section. This is great for enabling people to be able to dial in. You can show international numbers if you need to, but you can go and actually say which numbers do you want available for your calls and set that as part of the invite. And then they just dial in, put in the meeting the meeting code, and then they're off to the races. So let me just stop sharing for a second. I want to log in and show you some options actually in a Zoom account. So I'm just going to launch Zoom and show you where some of these features are found when you're actually in the account. So I'm just signing into Zoom behind the scenes. Let me just share my screen again. Okay, so I'm here in Zoom. I'm just going to start a video here, and it tells me here that I'm using computer audio. The video is not going to come up because I'm using video to stream to you guys right now. But across the bottom, a couple of things that I want to just show you. Here you can choose which video you want. Take note of some fun ones that you can put in the background. That's, again, tomorrow's call. In the Manage Participants section, what you'll see is these little indications here. So you can put, thumbs up, thumb down. You can give applause. You can say go slower, go faster, and so on. So this is where we talked about non-verbal feedback. This is what it looks like here. In your participants, you can just go and mute everyone instantly, unmute them. And if you go to the More button here, you can set up some of these settings for them here. Down the bottom on your menu bar, you do have a breakout room. And so this is where you can automatically or manually assign participants and how many you want them to go into a room. And you also have the ability to record. Now, you'll have limited cloud storage with your account. So when you go into the recording feature, generally what you can do is say, do you want to record to the cloud or do you want to record to your computer. And so generally I choose to record to a computer, and then I can move that file and put it in OneDrive or in Google Drive or so on. This is where you can share your screen, and you can choose what you want to share and have some advanced options around that. And you can instantly invite people into the call. So you could go copy URL and they just click the link and come in. You can copy a whole invite, which gives them all the telephone numbers and everything. Or you can launch your mail right here. So right now, if you decided you wanted to add somebody else in, you could. The last thing I'm going to show you is up the top here. If we had more people in, you can switch between a gallery view where it puts everybody into grids, kind of like the Brady Bunch, or you can go to the speaker view, which highlights the speaker who's speaking. So depending on what you're doing, you may want to keep that as an option. When I add on chat, all the chat messages can sit under here, and I can either chat to everyone, or if there were more people in here, I'd have the ability to send a private message in there. So lots of things to like about Zoom. Love the fact that it enables me really quickly to be able to bandwidth compression and be able to connect with people really quickly. And love the opportunity to be able to invite people into the call as well. So it's super easy to use, very cool to be able to use with a lot of people on a call. You can generally have up to 100 people, and also enabling you to be able to connect with a lot of different people at the same time. So if you've got any questions on any of that, really keen to have a chat to you about it. Leave a comment in the section below, and I will make sure that either myself or one of the team has the opportunity